Censure and Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Vira, Anthony, and Matt from Violent Vira.
Nice, here at Louder Than Life. Is this your guys' first Danny Wimmer festival?
Yes, it is, actually. Our next one is going to be Aftershock, I believe.
That's a great one. You'll love that one.
Yes. I watched My Chemical Romance there. That was the first time I had ever been to a festival. And it's really full circle to be able to now play it. Yeah, we're super excited.
Yeah, what does that feel like when you're an attendee and then next thing you know, you're performing?
A dream come true, honestly. I feel like I've been almost imagining this moment for a really long time. So the fact that it's happening now so quickly is quite, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
I love it. And so how did it happen? How did you find out about doing Louder Than Life? How did it come about?
Yeah, so we've been independent for the past 2-3 years, but now we have the past couple, our first ever tours, circling back on that, were actually booked by Matt, our guitarist, and so we did everything ourselves. Sick New World was our first festival, and that came about through a DM from the festival itself asking if we'd like to play.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yes, and these 3 festivals that we have this year have been because of our agents, and we're super, super grateful for them.
Well, that's pretty good because you've come to the pinnacle, the Danny Wimmer festivals. You'll probably end up at all of them at some point now.
Crossing our fingers, yes.
So what do you think of this festival? A, from what's out there, but B, how Danny Wimmer treats you as an artist.
Oh my goodness. We feel like we're guests in a home. We feel so welcome. It's so well organized. I was telling Anthony about this. We were having a conversation earlier just outside about how I really have a deep respect and appreciation for just everyone who makes things like this possible. Just the fact that I see them all working so hard and there's so many moving things all the time. It's really impressive.
And what I've never heard anything bad in 16 years of doing their festivals that an artist had to say. And one of the things I always hear is, no matter who you are, whether you're Slayer or Bring Me the Horizon or the first band of the day, you're treated the same.
Right? I love that about them. I think it makes almost the performance better because it's you're being treated like you belong here. And I feel like every artist does.
That's a key, what you said. It makes the performance better. And especially, too, a lot of festivals, as you well know, you can have problems with sound check, you can have problems with load-in, and that just is too much stress before you're getting up to perform. You got to be in the right mindset. So when it's easy and smooth like that, it makes it so much easier for you to perform, right?
Right, yeah. I think not a lot of people know exactly what goes into making shows possible, much less festivals. And so it really is so helpful. We got up pretty early this morning, 5 a.m. and it's just it's a constant, always moving for these things. So Danny Wimmer fucking killed it.
I love it, yeah, because people don't realize what goes into this. They look at you and they're like, oh, you're living the dream life. Because they just see what they see. They don't see what goes on behind the scenes and how much work you put into this and how much you don't get sleep. You don't even get any kind of luxuries. You're going on the road. It's a lot of work. This is just the bonus result. It's not the whole thing.
Exactly. That right there. People don't know that. It's there's nights where we've had to go from show and we couldn't even sleep at a hotel. We had to get going to the next city, and everyone is just blinking, on the verge of collapse. And
right.
we take turns, well, I don't. I'm not a very good driver.
So you might not make it to the Louder in Life if you were the one driving?
Oh, we would slower. Yeah, we would be a few days late. And the best possible scenario, the worst, we'd be playing a show in heaven.
Right? We don't want that.
No. Maybe one day I'll drive a semi-truck, I'll get that good.
There
Hopefully.
you go.
Yeah, I have faith.
Well, by the time you get to that point, you'll have a semi for your shows, and
Yeah.
you won't have to drive it.
Yeah, that would be a better solution.
Right?
Yeah.
So all three of you, I want to hear from all three of you. What
Absolutely.
was that moment in time that you knew this is what you had to do?
I'm going to start off with Anthony for this one.
He gives me Anthony Kiedis vibes from the original, like in the beginning.
I've heard that before.
Right?
That's not the first time I've heard that
sure
one.
you have.
I would say we met a little over 3 years ago, and at the time me and Matt were in another band, and she had reached out to us through Instagram to like work as live members, and we did a tour together with both of those bands. But there was a show that we played in Houston, and it was the second show we ever played as a band, and we just like went in there, and the people were feral. They were climbing this like giant pole in the middle, and they were just screaming. They're going crazy, and I was just like, that day I was just like, this feels so like powerful and so like awesome, and everybody loves the music so much. And I just at that point just started playing with her, but I was like, I know this is gonna be right. Like at that day, it just like kind of set in for me, and I haven't looked another way really.
I love it. And when she first contacted you, what is it to prompt you to say, oh, yeah, I want to do that?
I reached out. We did a couple rehearsals, and then we continued staying in the band, and for a while just live. And I would say that that second show in Houston was really good, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this project. It's been amazing, and everyone is like really close to me, and it's been great. But I would say like, personally, I never really thought of doing anything else. There's not really been like a question, but with this band, like probably around that same time.
There you go.
Yes, definitely. One more time, what was the question?
What was that one moment in time that you knew this is what you had to do? And now that hearing them, I will also want to hear what your vibe was when joining with them and you all working together.
Yeah, absolutely. So I knew I wanted to be a singer actually quite young. I remember being like 8 years old, and there was a festival going on, but like a small one. It was kind of like a fair, and they were doing a talent show, and they said that the grand prize would be like $50. And so I got up there, and I remember like telling the crowd to like put their hands in the air, and I remember that they did. And it felt surreal. I was like, wow, I ended up winning first place, and
Nice.
$50 for an 8-year-old felt like I had won like the lottery.
I know, right?
So I
There's a
was
lot you can do at that age for $50.
right? Especially 2008. That was like,
I know, not 2025.
oh
That
no.
$50 probably wouldn't even, it doesn't even pay for parking here.
Man, can you believe $50 probably could have like filled or half filled a grocery cart back then?
Right?
So I just remember feeling like I wanted to do this forever. And so when I was 15, I really put my focus into it. When I was 21, or 22 actually, I moved to Dallas, and that's when I found Anthony and Matt, and they had reached out to me. Matt did. And at first, I was a solo artist, and they were backing bands, but we got closer over the years, and very grateful to say that now our debut album is on its way, and we wrote it all together, and it's absolute magic. We can't wait for everyone to listen to it.
The best thing I love that you just said is that you wrote it together.
We did. Yeah.
That's a true band. Like, a lot of times there's artists that there's one person in the band that does all the writing, but I think what makes a great band is where you're all contributing, because you have different things that you bring to the table which would make your sound unique, opposed to, like, a lot of bands I find nowadays, they like have this formula that you plug in, and so you can't really tell the difference. So unless you have those multiple influences, because I'm sure all three of you have different things that you bring to the table in that songwriting process.
I love that you say that, because it's so true. I feel as though when I was writing by myself, I love those songs, but they're truly so small now compared to the songs that we've written together. I mean, it's just like, I
Almost
love,
like something was missing, right?
Yes, it really does. I don't know. I feel as though there would be no one else in the entire world who could make this album sound the way that it does without these two, and I'm forever grateful.
Nice. And what do you two have to say about the whole songwriting process?
Just that generally, you said it before, that like writing things with other people, especially who have the same, maybe not vision, but the same end goal of making like a wonderful experience, and that we were so, it's not like we liked everything we did the whole way together. We challenged each other, and it was a war of attrition, and it like was challenging, and through all of those like things, we wrote a record that I am incredibly proud of, and I just can't wait to put it out. I'm really, really excited.
Love it.
Yeah, the album writing process was great. We did some of it all in one trip out to Houston. We're from Dallas, so we spent a little bit writing it, and we also wrote some songs over time just out of a spontaneous moment in the rehearsal room. But out of the writing sessions I've been in, it's been like the easiest one by far, because we all see eye to eye on a lot of things musically, and it's just been a really easy process. No one, writing can be very good or very bad, and I think it was like, for the first one, it was like surprisingly really successful in how the execution was. Not that I was expecting anything different, but it like feels good to be validated that it went so well.
I love it. I also tend to think that when different people, like, let's say I'm writing something and there's other people in my band and they're giving feedback, I think their feedback is the feedback you would get from the people out there attending your show, buying your album. And I think that's the benefit of everybody contributing, because the other people almost have an objective outsider point of view that maybe yourself is not seeing. And that goes true of anything. We don't always see our own stuff or how we are perceived, so it's always good for somebody else to show that to us.
Exactly. I really like this term for when we're writing, like cooking, because it really does feel like that. Like, we're all so involved, and we like taste it. We're like, you know what, it needs a little bit more of this, or ooh, like let's increase the heat on this, and it just is a process.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
For sure. That's exactly how it is.
And out of it comes something beautiful, and we're just so proud of this dish. We can't wait for the audience to consume it.
Okay, so tell us more about the new album, how they can get it, and how they can also check out your live shows, and what tour dates you have, and buy your merch, because they can't listen to my show unless they buy your merch.
Thank you for that. Y'all hear that? Make note of it.
There it is. Otherwise, I can't get to the next gig. That's how you get to the next gig nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I don't want to brag or anything, but it's really comfy. You're going to love it. So the concept of the album follows the story of a girl and the hallucination of a ghost that she names Lover. And it's a story about the process of grief and what would happen if we didn't come to the acceptance stage. It's loosely based on some grief that I experienced in my personal life. So I just hope that everyone enjoys it and can take something personal from it and carry it with them in a positive light.
I love that. And how do they connect you guys on socials, on the web, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're violent, as in the word violent, like rah, you know.
Yeah, you don't sound very violent right now.
Oh, you know, we just got all our violence out on stage, so now we're all mellow.
I love that you said that, by the way, because that's what people don't get about this type of music is we're violent on stage or in the pit, so we're not violent in the outside world.
Exactly. We were just talking about that, how metalheads and like hardcore people and just like emo and punk and all sorts of alternative individuals in the scene, I think we're some of the most sincere and nicest people around.
It's so true.
Yeah.
We're like a big family.
Right? Like, who else is going to shove you and then pick you back up?
Right? Exactly. It's funny because you'll appreciate this story. One year I had to do 2 festivals in one weekend. Obviously, I can't do that. So I was sending somebody at work for me. I'm like, you're going to cover this festival. She had never been to a rock festival or a rock show ever. She was a country girl, okay?
Wow.
And so the way I explained it to her was, listen, it's not like your country shows where a bunch of rednecks are getting drunk and getting into fights. The mosh pit is not about that.
It looks like it from an outside
It looks
perspective.
like it, but it's not. We're one big family. You're going to go to this thing, and you're going to be, and this is so relevant to this Louder Than Life. I'm like, you're going to make all new friends. You'll probably like meet some guy, and you're going to probably see that we are the nicest people and that there'll be no fights. You think there is because of the mosh pit, but that's not what it's about. And you'll have the best time of your life.
It's all love.
Exactly. She comes back after the weekend. Oh, my God, you were so right. I have all these new friends. I now have a boyfriend.
That was fast.
In fact, the quote, she said, I teabagged him, and now he's my boyfriend.
Oh, romance. See, that's beautiful right there.
Right? And then she goes, and I have this new favorite band. I don't know if you know them, but they're called Bring Me the Horizon.
Just underground. Just
Yeah, like
something
I'm
small.
like, yeah, I think I know who they are. And that's why it's relative to Louder Than Life, because they're headlining Sunday night.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
gosh.
stoked.
Absolutely.
Because they're one of my favorite. And talk about songwriting. I think Ollie is one of the best songwriters ever, next to you.
Oh, shucks. Well, actually, Matt over here, he loves Bring Me the Horizon. It's one of his biggest inspirations, I think.
Anthony too. But yes, I love Bring Me the Horizon.
I do love them. I went to Warped Tour. It was either 2011 or 2012. I was like 15, 16, and they had just put out Subeternal.
Yeah.
And I had never experienced like metalcore, like any music like that at all. And they walked out on the stage and they started to play Antivist, and he was like, middle fingers up. And like I just shot straight up in the air, and I was like, this is history from there.
I'll tell you what, too, my favorite lyric of any song ever in history, he's my favorite lyricist, but my favorite lyric ever is on that album, in Can You Feel My Heart, where he says, I can't drown my demons, they know how to swim. And I'm like, that's the most brilliant shit ever, and I relate to that.
His pen was on fire when he was writing that down.
And he was actually in rehab when he wrote that song.
I heard, actually. Yeah, briefly. It's really incredible how he was able to transform that difficult period of his life into something so beautiful.
That's what music is, though, isn't it? To me, it's the best therapy there is, both for you, the artist, cathartic, get that shit out of you, and for us, the listeners, to relate to it. And like I listened to that song and Throne, and both of them are like me, 100%. I'm like, wow, how does he know me so well? That is the key to a good song, is where you put your meaning to it, and other people put their own meaning to it. And I think that's what you do, and that's what you're going to do with this new album for people.
The last track especially. Can't wait for that one. I feel like it's going to connect to a lot of people.
I love it. Any final words you want to tell the listeners that we haven't covered already?
We hope you enjoy Lover of a Ghost, and we hope it comes out this year. Crossing our fingers.
Thank you for listening and supporting us, and thank you for having us here and talking to us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the support, and listen to Lover of a Ghost.
Well, thank you for being here at Louder Than Life, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Absolutely, and we're Violent Vira. I forgot to say our full name. Thank you so much for having us.
You did a couple points, so, but it's always good to end up that way.
Right? Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Everybody, check out Violent Vira, or else you're banned from my show.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.